Hello, everybody. My name is Rick McCutcheon. Today on Partner Talks, I have Dan Costanzo from Annata, one of the most interesting ISVs we have in our Microsoft community. So, Dan, tell us who you are, what you do, and all about Annata.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. It's great to be here. Good morning. Good morning to your audience. Pleasure to be here, and thank you for the introduction. Yeah, thanks for teeing that up as one of the most interesting ISVs. So, I couldn't ask for a better opening. Yeah, my name is Dan Costanzo. I'm the VP of North America, responsible for our go-to-market at Annata. My background is I've been in technology, enterprise, transformational selling more longer than I'm willing to admit on your show. And most recently, I worked with a European startup in the price optimization space, and then started here at Annata some months ago, and looking to kind of establish, Annata, which has an exceptional reputation in the Microsoft community, and certainly a great reputation in Europe, and continue to duplicate some of that success and build a really strong foundation in the United States.
So, Dan, it was really interesting when you reached out to me a couple of weeks ago and said, you know what, you're coming to Toronto. We should get together, have a coffee. And I'm glad we did. And when I saw you're from Annata, I said, you know what, that's an ISV that I've been looking at for some time. I'm connected on LinkedIn to 10 people that work there. And I think they do what Microsoft's looking for other partners to do. And I know the product's based on Dynamics 365, and you've been in the channel for quite some time. So tell us a little bit about the history of the company and how that product evolved to what it is today.
Yeah, Rick, thank you. Yeah, it certainly was a pleasure to meet you in person last week and share a cup of coffee and get to know each other. And looking forward to return soon to Toronto. Yeah, I think that's well teed up. Annata is, I like to call it, at least with respect to the United States and North America, one of Microsoft's best kept secrets. We've been in the market for a long time. We've been in the market since 2001. We began as a VAR, right, in AX. So we have a ton of history with that product. And then a couple of years into our establishment as an organization, we identified a need with one of our clients that was in the heavy equipment space. And we evolved into a product organization from there, thereby effectively becoming an ISV. So we are just one of a handful of global ISVs in the market. I know partly that's reflected in our client portfolio. We have 150 customers across 130 countries. And we are European based, right? So we have the unique distinction. I know you've been around a long time. Maybe you could tell me if there are any other partners based in Iceland, particularly Reykjavik, right? So we carry those kind of two distinctions. But yeah. So we're anxious and eager to get our brand out into the marketplace here.
So, I've been to Reykjavik, and I strongly suggest for anybody listening to this broadcast that they check that city out. And I'm sure it's a pleasure being able to go there and call it work. So if we look at, where the products evolved, and I know you're in the heavy equipment, so give me an idea of some of the customers and what they do with your application.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so Annata really exists, and its mission is really to be the go-to ERP and operations platform, for automotive, heavy trucking, and heavy equipment. So, like, we also like to call it anything with wheels or tracks, we're your guys, right? If you're in the dynamic space, there's nobody that really can do it better than that. That's our sweet spot. And in fact, Microsoft's own automotive accelerator is really IP that was developed by Annata that we gave, to Microsoft. Then of course we've kind of built out that IP over the years with additional functionality. So the sorts of clients that we work with are, large OEMs, companies like Komatsu, Hitachi, Ford. We also work a lot with importers and distributors in the United States. We work with a company called Southeast Toyota, which is the world's largest Toyota importer. So, in what we're doing with our solution is we have a number of different modules, but we really go to market as a platform provider with a solution we call Annata 365. And that platform really manages the transactions and activities associated with an individual vehicle, a fleet of vehicles, or an excavator or a bulldozer in the case with heavy equipment. So
And what's interesting about your space, I've done a little bit of CRM work in the space, and it's kind of dominated by what I'll call older applications, as well as applications. If I'm a distributor importer, from one manufacturer, right? Instead of having something that actually runs my business. So I think you're in a real sweet spot in this industry.
yeah, I think that's well said. I mean, when we generally enter into different pursuits with partners or with Microsoft, they quickly realize that we really drive the value narrative. And so Dynamics is fantastic as a platform, and it does very well kind of in purchasing and basic sales. But where we really pick up is, the sale of the device with the necessary attributes that are important to the industry. The servicing of that device is huge, right? The work orders, whether they be the shop floor or in the field, related to that, enabling those technicians with the right sort of tools, the spare parts associated with that, and then the actual rental of the device. So we're thinking about our solution within the context of equipment lifecycle management, and helping those clients, these super expensive, you can imagine at a Caterpillar, dealer, an excavator, these excavators you see and you drive by all the time, which you probably aren't receiving particularly well because you're annoyed that you're stuck in traffic. But these are super expensive, complex pieces of machinery that can go up to $1 million, right? So that's a serious asset for these companies. And they want to make sure that they're utilizing those assets and reducing costs and just making as much possible money as they can against that particular device. So we kind of drive that whole secular, motion or life cycle, if you will. So
Okay, great. So we have a lot of partners listen to this show. So let's talk a little bit about your P2P strategy.
I would say that as an organization, we're evolving quite a bit. So as you can imagine, these projects, they're big. They're big. We're very sticky, as you can imagine. We're driving really the end-to-end operations for these organizations. And it does take some time to implement, right? As an organization, a year ago, we really have been doubling down on our product, really focusing on our IP, selling our IP, and trying to get away from professional services as much as we can, so that we can focus on building beautiful, compelling a software in the market, and that's where our valuation is. So as an ISV, we're that much more dependent, right, on our business model to realize that business model. We're that much more dependent on VARs and implementation partners who can kind of come in and own that kind of soup to nuts project.
Okay, that's fantastic. And we're kind of at the beginning of 2024 here. What do you got going for the rest of this year that's exciting for our channel?
Yeah, well, I mean, speaking about product, right, we're doubling down on kind of the one platform which Microsoft is evolving to. And I think in some respects, in many respects, we're huge users of Dataverse. We've built a lot of apps, and so we're kind of utilizing the underlying Dataverse and Power Platform to become that one platform. But we're also, with respect to our product, because we have an F&O component and a CE component, kind of unifying those into one platform to enable more seamless business flows and kind of reduce the speed to market to kind of implement our solution and flexibly adapt while flexibly adapting to our customers' requirements. So yeah, we're really excited. I mean, and that excitement is really driven around the innovation we're driving into the product. And so we couldn't be more excited about what 2024 has in store for us.
And if we look at the way they built your product, like you're saying, they started with AX and F&O, and they're bringing in Dataverse and Power Apps and the other dynamic suites of products. We look at that, and I think you have a huge competitive advantage going into the market, leveraging the integration of that stack with the AI work that Microsoft's doing. Plus, everything we're doing with the modern workplace, whether it's Office, whether it's SharePoint, whether it's Teams, we can bring all that into an industry which may not be used to using that level of technology.
Oh, I love it. I think you're hitting on all the right points here. In fact, I was just at the Executive Briefing Center in Chicago with a few folks from Microsoft and talking about this very thing. And I mean, I've been selling ERP platforms for a long time, so it's hard sometimes to distinguish one from the other, right? Let's be honest, ERP is a serious business, and it's not always fun for clients from an evaluation standpoint. But our position in the market is kind of similar to what you're saying, just a different way. Like we're investing in the appification, right, of ERP, of core dynamics, and those are some key points of distinction that you can drive in the market to drive just a better experience, just more accessible features. Let's face it, right? These guys, right, who are in the field working on these, let's say, an excavator or a bulldozer, they're not logging into F&O, and we don't want them logging into F&O necessarily. They're looking for kind of a more modern, intuitive, lightweight type of experience, and that's really what Dynamics brings to the table, versus SAP and Oracle and others out there. So yeah, so we're excited to kind of double down on that and do more of that because that's generally what our clients are the most excited about in the market. So.
Okay, Dan, you're in an exciting spot, and I think 2024 is going to be a great year for Annata globally, but especially in North America. So thanks for your time, and I'm sure we'll be back to you in the near future to find out what's next for your organization.
Great, Rick. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be here, and thank you to your audience.
Have a great day. Bye for now.
Okay, bye-bye.